Hi everyone. Thank you all for joining our webinar today on making reporting easier with Velixo. My name is Selena Patel and I'm the marketing manager at Strategies Group, and I'll be your host today. For those of you that don't know, Velixo is an Excel-based reporting tool made for Acumatica by Acumatica experts. Today, our presentation will be given by Duffy Cohen, our Velixo expert and channel sales manager. Before I hand the webinar over to Duffy, I just wanted to remind everyone to drop any questions that you have in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. At the end, I'll answer any questions that are in there and ask them straight to Duffy so he can answer them. And with that, I'll hand it over to Duffy.
Fantastic. Thank you for the introduction, Selena. What I'll do right now is I'll just share my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so just to kick things off, I wanted to thank the Strategies Group for giving us the opportunity today to really highlight Velixo's Excel-based reporting software. For the structure of the call today, I'm going to make it fairly straightforward where, number one, we'll go through the history of Velixo for the first couple of slides, followed by the next couple of slides where I'm going to walk through some of the functions that you're going to have access through with Velixo. And really for the main chunk of the conversation today, I'm going to walk you through the installation and reporting examples of how we are going to be able to hopefully save you some time with your reports on a monthly occurrence, or how often that your team does the reporting needs. So just to get started, wanted to introduce myself. I'm the channel sales manager here at Velixo. You'll see Gabriel Michaud, who is the founder of Velixo. And he's been in the industry for over 20 years, where he had actually started his first business in the ERP software world at just 17 years old. I definitely cannot say the same thing for myself. Well, just fast forwarding to 2009, Gabriel and his partner at the time had become the first reseller partner with Acumatica in Canada. So we have over 10 years of experience working with Acumatica. In 2013, when Gabriel had sold his business, he decided to work with Acumatica just to get a little bit more granular with understanding the nuts and bolts of the ERP software from top down. And in 2017, where he had found the need for Velixo, is when we had been established. We've been around for just over 4 years now. And in this short period of time, we've been able to grow from really 0 customers to just over 540 Acumatica customers worldwide. And as you'll see from the map, we really service folks all around the world. We have customers in Southeast Asia, Mexico, Australia, France, and you name it, and we're there, or we will be there shortly. Our head office is located in Montreal, Canada, so that's where both Gabriel and I are situated. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into the history of Velixo, as I rather show you the product itself. I just wanted to stipulate that the Velixo had really, the story had started 20 years ago while Gabriel was working in his first business, where he had many customers come up to him and say that they had a lot of difficulty extracting their data from their ERP software and being able to integrate that with Excel. And instead of reinventing the wheel, Gabriel realized, why not just work within the Excel environment and then create functions to allow folks to be able to extract the information as needed. So that's really how Velixo came to be. Now, you'll see in the next couple of minutes or so that once the installation is complete for Acumatica, that there is going to be a new Acumatica tab or ribbon within the Excel file itself. And on top of that, we've also added 60 additional functions for GL, project data, and generic inquiries. One item I wanted to stress was that all of the data that you will be seeing in the next couple of minutes or so is in real time. So typically, I'm sure a couple of you have had to wait for a number of hours or so to have your data refreshed within Excel. With us, it's going to occur within seconds. You're going to see your data become live and come to life itself. We're proud to say that we are number one, a certified application within the Acumatica world, and that we're part of the President's Club. Now, after this conversation, if any of you really wanted some more customer feedback on how we've been able to save customers time, please take a look at the reviews that we have. I believe we just reached 30 reviews now, so I might need to update this PowerPoint for the next presentation, but it will give you some baselines of what you can expect with Velixo. And most importantly, I'd like to really stress that we have been rated the #1 solution right now in the Acumatica marketplace. Now, one of the pillars for Velixo and being established is we wanted to create the most user-friendly experience as possible. And what you're going to see in the demo is #1, the installation of Velixo will take 30 seconds to a minute. Once that's completed, you will be off and running. On top of that, we wanted to make sure everyone who needed access to Velixo will have access. So we've ensured that one subscription, so one license, so if you purchase Velixo for your team, every single person on your team will be able to utilize Velixo as needed. Lastly, I really wanted to stress that there is no learning curve with Velixo. So if you know Excel, by default, you will know Velixo. Now, here's just a sample of some of the happy customers that we have on the Velixo forum right now. We weren't able to add all 540 or so, but we were able to just put in a snapshot of some of the clients that we're working with right now. One customer I wanted to really emphasize was Acumatica, as they themselves have seen the impact of our financial tool, that they have purchased our platform for their own finances. Now, I'm going to show a quick customer testimonial, and then we'll go right to the demo. Please let me know if you cannot hear the video. We're having some issues from time to time with the video, so just let me know if you cannot hear this, and we will skip this and go right to the demo.
I can't hear it, Duffy.
Okay, so at that point, let's go on right to the demo where I'll start walking your team through the installation process. Can everyone see my screen where it says Zoom?
No, we currently see the slide with the customer success story.
Okay, let me stop sharing and then I'll reshare once again. And let me know if you can see my screen right now.
Yes, I can see your desktop.
Perfect, where it says annual channel, and then there's going to be a window that's going to be opening up now.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that we're going to do is install Velixo. And once the installation is complete, you're going to have Excel, which is going to open up and we're going to start off with a blank worksheet. Here we go. There we go. So let's click on blank worksheet, and here we are. Now, the first thing that you will notice is the Acumatica ribbon, which is new within the Excel now. And you'll see in the dropdown some of the features, and I'm going to walk you all through each one of these features one by one. Now, the first thing that we're going to want to do is connect Acumatica to Excel. So you'll click on the connection manager right up top on the left-hand side, and then we're going to add a connection. So you'll see here, I put in my tenant and then my username and my passcode. Please be mindful that the username and the passcode that you're using within Acumatica right now is the exact same username and passcode that we will use to connect to Acumatica. And please recall this remember me icon, so the next time that you log in, you won't have to click add connection once again. So let me connect. And then you'll see the cloud turn green, which indicates that you are officially connected to Acumatica. Now, the first thing I'm going to walk you all through is a simple trial balance. So let's go here. And here, we're ready to go. So at this point, let's start off by inputting our GL accounts. So you can go the manual route where you're putting them in one by one. This is a fairly time consuming from my perspective. So we've inserted a new option here, which is called Insert Chart of Accounts. Once you do so and you click on Insert, you're going to see all of your GL accounts pre-populate. And one thing to note is that you'll see that the function here is dynamic, and this is a function that we've created. So anytime that you log in the following time, all you'll have to do is click on Refresh All, and you'll see all of your data update in real time. So if there was a new account that was added or one that was removed, you'll see that be reflected once you click on Refresh All. Now, the second thing that we're going to do is we're going to look for the account name. So like I said, we've added 60 functions that you will have access to extract information from Acumatica. So what I'll do in this scenario is I'll look for account, and then I'll look for name. And at this point, it's going to ask me to include the demo, so my connection, and the account. So I'll put the account in here, and there we go. Now, the second piece we're going to look for is our balance. But before I do so, I'm going to put a few additional variables. And let's put financial period. Now, at this point, you can go the same route where you're going to do equals ending account balance, or what you can use if you're familiar with the insert function is just click on it, and then you're going to see within the drop-down of the categories that there are 6 new functions that have been pre-installed. So you'll see generic inquiries, audit functions, projects. For this scenario here, we're going to use general ledger. And then we're going to look for account ending balance just like before. And here, we're just going to fill the appropriate information. So ledger, account, and financial period. But before I click on OK, please note that there's a help on this function that's going to be available to you. Once you click on this, you will see the support website for Velixo populate, where you'll see specific examples related to this function to better assist you with. So you'll see here the parameters in the description. And as I scroll down, you'll see some examples to provide additional insight. On top of that, we have an abundant amount of support that's going to be available to you. We noticed that a lot of controllers and accountants like to figure things out on their own. So we wanted to provide you with as much information as possible. So if you're looking for something in relation to specific functions, just click on the function tab and you'll see an abundant amount of information. We also have how-to guides and videos. So you'll see on the top right-hand side with the star, getting started videos, where we have specific videos will show you even how to connect to your account itself. So one of the pieces I already showed you, and a few additional videos as well to provide you some insight. Now let me go ahead and click on OK. There we go. And at this point, we can dig a little further. So if you wanted to look, for instance, at the actuals from this financial period to, let's say, we were looking at 2019, all you'll do is click on 2019, and you'll see the values automatically adjust. You can take it a step further if you'd like, and you can look at the variance, for instance. Oh, my eyes are not too good right now. C8 minus D8. And then you can drop down. At this point, you can even compare your actual versus your budget because budget is part of the ledger. And then you'll see it adjust automatically once again. Now, a few additional pieces I wanted to show you was that you can look for ranges, you can group accounts together, and we also have the option for wildcards. So let's say we wanted to look at 102, we wanted 103, and then we wanted 104. Let's just copy the columns. And here you go. Now, if we're looking for a range, so let's say we're looking for 101 to 107.50, and it updates automatically. The last one is here, you have the option to include wildcards. So let's say we're looking for anything with the number 1, but we don't want, for instance, 102.00. And there you go. So this right here was just a sample of a trial balance that you would have access to where you're able to extract really all the information that you would require in real time. Now I'm going to switch on over to a sample pack that we will be spending the majority of our conversation today looking at. So you'll see here an example of a P&L statement. And for this example here, there's multiple branches. We also have a trailing P&L, an income statement, cash flow statement, and then budget, and then distribution, which I will be going over in the next little bit. And this sample pack is also available on our website. So if you wanted to use this as a framework for your template, you're more than welcome to, though we do know that a lot of clients prefer using their own templates. Now, the first piece I want to show you all, and it's one of the most exciting features that a lot of our customers really appreciate, is something called the drill down, which you see right here. And what that allows you to do is click on any cell within your sheet and go to the source transaction directly within Acumatica. Now, let me give you an example. So I'm going to click on drill down right now, and you're going to see we're in the total operating expenses. So I'm going to click on drill down. And then you're going to see a new tab appear. And this new tab has all the associated transactions. It's going to show you the time period, the branches, and the associated balances. Now, let's use an example here. So I'm going to take this example. And we're going to go directly within Acumatica to show you how to obtain the source transaction. The first thing you're going to do is click on View Transactions. And once you do so, you will be redirected to Acumatica, where you'll log in. And just wanted to emphasize once again, it's the same username and passcode in Acumatica that you would use to connect within Velixo. So once we logged in, you're going to see a little bit more in detail this specific transaction. If you want to, you can click on the reference number, and this will take you to the source transaction within Acumatica, where you can take a look at the original invoice itself. So I'm going to click on the attachment, and then you'll see here the invoice populates. So you'll see 201.73. And then if you wanted to relate that back, you'll see 201.73. And then if we go to the source cell, there you go. So just wanted to reiterate one last time that drill down allows you to click on any cell within your file and go to the source transaction within Acumatica. Now, what I'm going to show you next is something called generic inquiries. Now, we have the ability to extract any generic inquiry that you have right now within Acumatica. And I'll show you an example. So let's go into payables and let's click on bills and adjustments. This right here that you're seeing is an example of a generic inquiry. You have the option to edit, add. You have a lot of flexibility within the generic inquiries. But for our sake, what we're going to do is we're just going to take the inquiry title and then bring that to life within Excel. So let me copy the generic inquiry and let's go right into Excel. So like I said, we added 60 functions. One of them is generic inquiry. So you'll type GI. And once you do so, It's going to ask you for the connection, and then it's going to ask you for the inquiry. And once you do so, it might take a second or two, but you're going to see your full inquiry in this state here. At this point, I know the inquiry is fairly large. You can make it a little bit smaller if you're say you're only looking for, let's say, type, vendor, and then status, for instance. You'll see just that populate. I'm not going to go too deep into this, but you can even filter through this inquiry right here even further with something called GI filter. So you'll see here equals GI and then filter, where you'd be able to filter from the status if it's closed or open. If you're looking for a vendor with, let's say, we're looking for specifically transit, you'll be able to stiff even further through the actual inquiry itself. So this is just an example of a generic inquiry that you will have access to. And like I said, you'll be able to extract any generic inquiry that you have. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you all through something called new distribution list, which you see up top here. Now let me just click on this button. And once I do so, you're going to see a new tab that opens up. And this template here that you're going to see is going to allow you to send specific reports to specific end users from your team. So you'll see here all the tabs and all the reports that are associated here. The first thing you're going to want to note, number one, is you can choose the format. So you can send your report in PDF, you can send it in Excel. If you're going to send it to someone else who will not have access to Velixo, just click on the Remove Excel Formulas. In terms of tabs, these are based on the tabs that you see below. If you leave it blank, it's just going to send all the reports. If you have an online folder where you save everything, so like SharePoint, for instance, you'll just put the file here, and then it will sit, and then it will distribute there exactly. Now I'm going to show you an example that we've already created. So you'll see here a sample of a distribution list. So you'll see here the formats that were utilized, the emails, and then as I scroll to the right-hand side, for this specific client, they had branches. So you'll see here the branches that they chose from. If you wanted to, instead of using branches, you wanted to use, let's say, fin period or ledger, you can modify it to your choosing because we want to make sure the right individuals receive the right reports. Now, once you're ready to distribute everything, all you'll do is click on Distribute All and then click on Distribute. And let me open up Outlook to show you really what the distribution looks like once it's sent. Okay, here we go. Let's go right to the drafts. It's still sending, so it might take another second or two. But as you see, they're coming in one by one. And there we go. So at this point, I'm going to look at my draft folders, and then you're going to see this is an Excel-based report that was sent out. This is a sample of a profit and loss, and this was a consolidated report that was sent out. So I'm just going to be opening up the PDF file now, and you'll see a sample of what was sent out. Then let's take another example here. You'll see this was a specific branch as opposed to the consolidated report, and you'll see budget was removed in this scenario here. If you're going to be sending it, for instance, to someone who is familiar with graphs, for instance, you can send them within the body of the email. But what I really like is if you have a stakeholder who only wants a portion of the report itself, you can pick and choose what you will send within the report. So this is just a sample of the net sales of the report that we had sent off. So that's an example of report distribution. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to walk you through another example of another availability that you will have with Excel and Velixo. So let me just go over here and let's open this file here. And you'll see that there is something else here called GL write back, budget write back, and project forecast write back. Now let me click on budget write back, and let's create a new budget worksheet. And at this point, if you're familiar with Acumatica, which I'm hoping most of you are, you would see, number one, that the template that we're using here is very similar to the budget template that you will see in Acumatica. The main difference that you will see in this scenario here is that instead of pulling information from Acumatica, now you're going to be pushing information back to Acumatica. And in this scenario here, we're going to be pushing our budget. So you'll see, I'm just going to scroll over to a separate sheet. And this is one that has been pre-filled by our team, where you have a revenue and expense account. We've added 2 custom columns for this scenario here. And then we've added, I believe, 12 periods. There may be 13 in this scenario. But this is an example of a report that we've created here, where we've included forecasts as well. Once you're ready to send out your report to Acumatica, all you're going to need to do is click on Budget Write Back. And once you do so, you're going to click on Import Current Worksheet. Now let me click on Import Current Worksheet. And there you go. You're off and running. And that's the same idea with journal transactions. So I'm just going to open up GL Write Back here just to show you a similar template. And this is exactly what you'll see. So you'll see the branch, the account, and then once you're ready to send that back, all you'll do is import current worksheet. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are working within the project space right now, but what I'll do is I'll walk you through a project example of what you have accessible with Velixo. So let me just go here to this example that you'll see. So this is an example of a manufacturing-based organization where we created this for them roughly 3 to 4 months ago. First thing to note is on the left-hand side that there's a dashboard that has been created. And this dashboard has been manipulated by the sheets that you see below here. So let me click on In Planning, and you'll see a different view. Now, I wanted to stress that all the information that you're seeing here, all the data is stored within Acumatica. It's only displayed and analyzed within Excel through Velixo. Now, I'm going to scroll over to a portfolio project report. And this is an example of one that you're going to see, where you have all the associated ongoing projects right now for this specific project manager. You'll see the revenue and expenses and then the budgets as well. And in this scenario here, this customer had actual hours accumulated to date versus the budgeted hours. Now, I wanted to focus on this right here just to show you that if you recall previously, we used ending account balance. In this scenario here, now we're going to be using project ending amount. So we've created an abundant amount of project-related functions to enable you to create reports that you would need within the project segment. Now, we also have options here. So if you're using a fairly detailed report where you're looking for cost codes, this is another example of something that we had created for another customer. We have WIP reports that we have also created. So if you wanted to look at all your ongoing projects at once, the same idea here. So you'll see the same functionality that's going to be accessible to you. And then I just wanted to go on over to the project forecast. So just like GL write back and just like budget write back that you see right up top here, you have the same abilities with project write back, project forecast write back, where all you'll have to do once you're ready to push everything back is just click on import current worksheet. And there we go. So for this scenario, I didn't connect, but this was just showing you an example of how you would push this back to Acumatica itself. Now, we have a fair amount of time available for some questions. I went over the main focal points of Velixo today, and I want to leave the forum open for any questions that there might be.
Thank you, Duffy. I'll I'll pass it over to Diana for any questions.
Hey, how is everyone today? If you have a question, all you need to do is stick it in the Q&A or chat box. So Duffy, does Velixo have a support plan or support features for users?
So yes, so typically we have a support plan which is available to users. We have different options available. So we have ones where if you would need help with actually putting in the functions, we have consultancy work that's available there. But if you need support with just general inquiries that you might have, we do have a support option available as well for any customers.
Okay. Another one came up. Will this work with Acumatica Payroll?
That's a good question. I'm going to take that down and I'm going to get back to you on that. Are you able to, I want to make sure that the customer who had asked this is followed up with. So if I follow up with you, would you be able to reach back out to them after the fact?
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So we also have another one. It says, can you pull account, sub-account combinations, for example, in your net changes or ending balance report?
Yes.
Okay. And then somebody asked about the cost and pricing model.
Sure. So typically we allow our partner to go over this, and really it's based on your resource tier. So we do it based on if you're a small, medium, large, or Excel based tier customer.
Okay. So far, that's all. We'll wait a couple more minutes though.
Sure.
And while those are coming in, just so everyone knows, there will be a recording of the webinar sent after the webinar is over. So be on the lookout for that.
Is there a trial version available?
There is a trial version available for customers. We do offer a 30-day trial period if that's something they'd like to test out in advance. So that's something that's definitely available, correct?
All righty. If that's all, then thank you, Duffy and the Velixo team, for taking the time to demonstrate your product. And thank you to all of the customers who joined. I hope you all found value in this webinar. And like Selena said, we will be sending out a link to request some feedback and get your thoughts. So thank you all and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.